Hi guys, I'm a Gambling Goose, and welcome to my breakdown of the Scorch in Titanfall 2. Today we're going to go over some strengths, weaknesses, my loadout, and some notes for you guys. We're going to start off with the strengths. First off, the Scorch is literally unparalleled in close quarters combat. When you're in your effective range in an effective engagement zone, no Titan in the game can out DPS you. With your shield, your flame traps, and your flame wall, nobody can lay down as much hurt as you. In confined spaces or corridors, a Scorch can take on 2 to 3 Titans with a skilled pilot. It's an excellent multitasker. You can use your traps to harass enemies in the back while using your flame shield and thermite launcher up close. Its strong armor definitely suits its close quarters battle so that you can soak up damage while you're out DPSing the enemy. The thermite projectiles are massive. They have a huge hitbox. It's like shooting a beach ball, as Frothy Omen said. They're good for hitting pilots once you get past the learning curve. Its defensive ability is also arguably its strongest offensive ability. The flame shield coupled with the Inferno shield loadout does massive damage, and it really harasses enemies up close. Flame wall plus thermite traps is a tremendous area denial, and that's where the Scorch starts to shine, when you can just stop mechs going from where you don't want them. And its flame core, lastly, its last strength, its flame core is excellent for cleaning up those mechs at low health or possibly in a doomed state. Alright, now its weaknesses. I'm going to catch some flack for these, but I'm just an average player trying to reach an average player base. It's literally worthless at long range. It's terrible. Its thermite projectiles are incredibly low velocity. Its traps are easily avoided. It's awful. It's not good for medium range either. The entire point of the traps is to force them to engage you at close range. There's no reason for an opponent not to just shoot your flame shield. And I guess this is due to balance, and it's not necessarily a problem. But the more that they shoot you, the less that it lasts. So there's no reason for them to not just hose you. In the heat of battle, you can step on your own traps. This is a problem that I have. You really got to pay attention, and sometimes you can't because you're too busy fighting. You take unnecessary damage. Not a huge deal, but it does suck. The Flame Core does okay damage, but it's not necessarily useful like the North Star or the Ronin. You can change position while doing damage when you're using those. The Ion, you've got a lot more range. The Flame Core is really just a cleanup utility for when you have mechs in a low health or doomed state. Its core also is close range exclusive and exposes you to damage. When you do the wind up for the animation of slamming the ground, you open yourself up to damage, and especially at the range when it's effective, you open yourself up to a lot of damage. So you just gotta know when to use it. Also, it's a bitch to see through your flame shield, and that's what I use to harass enemies up close, so keeping track of them while looking through the flame shield is not an easy task to accomplish. The thermite traps are hugely reliant on skill. There's a big learning curve for thermite traps. You'll start off just spamming them in an attempt to stack the damage, and it's more than that. You gotta know how and when to use them. They also bounce like a motherfucker off of walls and shields. There's no real trajectory. I wish you could hold Y and get a little arc. I don't know, maybe they could add that in at some point. Maybe I'm just not good enough. Fast mechs with smart pilots in most engagement scenarios can usually disengage you with little to no damage, and they're gonna know that. A lot of times you'll see Ronin or North Star just bounce away from you, and they'll get away, and they'll get to a more effective range where they can out damage you. It's not really viable on every map. Really open maps do not suit the Scorch. It ties in with its range. The thermite launcher is also a really low velocity. That also hurts its range. I'm just not very good with it. I wish that it would be a little faster, but hey, you win some, you lose some. Now we're moving on to my loadout and some notes. First off, I use the Turbo Core. It's the most useful core ability for the Scorch. It's an ogre. It gives you the ability to get out of a hot situation, or when you're using your flame shield, you can boost towards somebody and get that damage in. It's really useful. Second is the Inferno Shield. The Inferno Shield is your most reliable close range damaging module on your mech, so there's no reason to really not have the Inferno Shield. Another one you could take, I started off using, I think it was the Wildfire Launcher is what it's called, and it's pretty useful. I mean, you use the Thermite Launcher a good amount, and it does good damage, and it's really good to stick them in the cockpit where they can't see anything, but I would definitely say that it's most useful to use the Inferno Shield. Dome Shield is all personal preference. Now onto some notes. Don't be the first to fall, especially in attrition. Just save your Titan for other Titans. That's where you shine. Know your flanking routes. Properly prepared, it takes 7 seconds to destroy an unaware Ogre Titan. That's ridiculous, okay? Learn to pick your engagements. Break off if you have to. In the right situation, you're unbeatable. In the wrong one, you just cannon fodder. Accept the fact that the Scorch isn't really viable on open maps. It's borderline worthless to me, especially against a decent team watching their flanks. Don't spam your thermite traps trying to stack the damage. Use them to force the enemy to walk into your flame shield. Use them to force the enemy to go where you want them to go. Don't just try to stack the damage and end the fight really quick. Use the flame wall to corral enemies or ignite traps. Direct damage usually isn't worth it, so usually shoot it to the left or to the right. The flame core destroys and goes through tone walls, so if they set up a particle wall and try to get cheeky, just blow them with the flame wall. The flame core should be used to stop fights, not start them, and the Scorch is an excellent support mech. If you can't find a favorable engagement, trust your buddies to do the work while you harass. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let me know how you play the Scorch and how I did. Do you think what I said was accurate? Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you think I was totally off the ball? Does your loadout look like mine? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys.